Hello students. Yesterday I told you about Dharam Bharti's play Andhayug. How Andhayug provides the human feelings related with past and present, and the dramatist express the events of the Mahabharat war from beginning to the end of the Shri Krishna's death at Prophet's pilgrimage. And I told you that this play is divided in 5 acts. So, this is part 2 of Andhayug. As Andhayug is based on the ancient Sanskrit epic Mahabharat, written by Vedavyas, the play begins on the 18th and last day of the great Mahabharat war. And first of all, there is God's prayer. The story is related with the blinds in the form of a heavenly glimpse. The war of Mahabharat was going on. This was the period of the evening of the last day of the war. There was very sad atmosphere in the city of Kauravas due to the defeat of Kauravas. There was pin drop silence everywhere. Only 2 watchmen were talking together. These watchmen had passed their life in performing their duties well. The watchmen say that there is no aim and object of their life without war. The war was commenced by Duryodhana, the son of Dhritarashtra. We were on the way to Kurukshetra since 17 days. All is destroyed during these days. During these days, many lakhs and crores vultures covered the sky and they were going in the direction of Kurukshetra. Shri Vidur comes during the conversation of the watchman. He wants to know the information and proceedings of the war brought by Sanjay. Vidur enters in the palace. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari were sat in the palace. Dhritarashtra says to Vidur, I am very worried today in my life. Vidur says, this kind of worries and doubt was told by Shri Ram and Guru Drona very long before. Dhritarashtra says to Vidur that he was blind from the birth and I did not know about the worldly truth and social obligation and restrictions. My only aim was to fulfill my personal self-interest today. Gandhari was very excited about Shri Krishna. She also knew that Krishna was the designator of the war. There is no any policy and principle of Shri Krishna. He lost his restriction and other order during the shower of arrows by Bhishma, the grandfather. Krishna has no morality and restriction. Vidur requests to Gandhari not to say any such words about Krishna. Gandhari says to Vidur not to say mother to her as Krishna also called her mother. This was due to Krishna and due to war during 17th day all her sons were killed. I hate the word mother. A beggar comes to the palace. He told before some days that the war between Pandavas and Kauravas is sure. It cannot be stopped. Kauravas will get victory in this war. But the beggar says that Krishna is here in this war, so there is no meaning of this foretelling. Gandhari is so intensive in her son's affection that she does not have faith in beggar's telling. The sun sets down. All are waiting for Sanjay, who possesses inner or divine vision. He used to tell Dhritarashtra about the happenings of the war, but today Sanjay has strayed from his way. He has no power to tell the truth about the war to Dhritarashtra. Mahabharat war, which devastated the kingdom of Kauravas, the feuding cousins of Pandavas, their capital, the once magnificent Hastinapur, lay burning in ruins. The battlefield of Kurukshetra was strewn with corpses and skies filled with vultures and death laments. Fatalities were on both sides as cousins killed each other. The survivors were left grieving and enraged, and they continued to blame each other for the destruction. No one was willing to view it as a consequence of their own moral choice. As I told you earlier that Bharti constructed the play using Western drama tradition and early Indian drama found in Sanskrit drama. Prologue, Act 1, The Kaurva Kingdom, Act 2, The Making of a Beast. As I told you, Act 1, The Kaurva Kingdom. Next I will tell you in Act 2, The Making of a Beast. In Act 2, The Making of a Beast. Sanjay is unable to tell Dhritarashtra the reality of the war. And he thinks, how will he say Dhritarashtra the very shameful defeat of the Kauravas during the war? Sanjay is in perplexed situation. In the forest, Sanjay comes across to Kritvarma. Kritvarma is surprised. Why did the Pandavas not kill Kritvarma? Due to immortal bond by Vyasji, Sanjay remains safe. Sanjay asks to Kritvarma how he should tell the real truth about the war. Sanjay goes away. Kritvarma sees Kripacharya and who was in search of Ashwatthama. Kripacharya says that there are only three safe in the armies of the Kauravas. Kripacharya says to Kritvarma that the king Duryodhana got down from his chariot and accepted his defeat. But Ashwatthama could not bear it. He broke down his bow and ran away to the forest, crying loudly, and I am in search of him. Ashwatthama was recollecting his past in the forest when Yudhishthira exclaimed that Ashwatthama has been killed. Dronacharya dropped his arms and Dhristadyumna killed Dronacharya. Ashwatthama was very sorry and said on the death of his father. He thinks to suicide, but after this, he thinks to take revenge from the Pandavas. Finally, he decides to take revenge. At this time, Sanjay passes there and Ashwatthama caught hold his throat. Kritvarma and Kripacharya told him that he is Sanjay and going to Hastinapur to see Dhritarashtra. Both tell him not to be so sorry at this time because he has to do a lot of work to do. They say that Duryodhana is still alive and he is inside the tank. Kritvarma and Kripacharya go to Duryodhana to converse about future war policy. At this time, the beggar who told about the victory of Kauravas was going through the forest. The beggar saying that our karma is only true. At this time, Ashwatthama comes there and he recognizes the beggar and rebukes the beggar for the defeat of Duryodhana. The beggar says that it is not the defeat of Duryodhana but it is the victory of truth. Ashwatthama becomes angry and he murders the beggar. Ashwatthama says that he does not want to murder, but it is due to the feeling of revenge. Kripacharya says to Ashwatthama to take rest as he is very tired. Ashwathama lies but cannot enjoy sleep. He thinks about the defeat of Duryodhana. This defeat is the tumor of his mind. It cannot be forgotten. So, we see in Act 2. Act 2 is the making of a beast. We will discuss Act 3, the half-truth of Ashwathama, interlude, feathers, wheels and bandages. Act 4, Gandhari's curse. Act 5, victory and a series of suicides. Epilogue, death of the Lord. So, I will tell you tomorrow the remaining acts. About these remaining acts, Act 3, the interlude, Act 4, Act 5 and the epilogue.